attributes, well, BG, color, border, all that stuff is gone because that belongs to CSS, right? Separations of concerns. You should just be using CSS. And also, more importantly, for HTML5 and its pragmatic design principles, people are using CSS for that stuff. They tend not to do it in the markup layer anymore. The interesting thing is that for all these elements that are no longer in the spec, you will still find in the spec details for browsers and how to parse them. This is an interesting thing. So, first of all, these elements aren't deprecated because we don't say the word deprecated anymore. The word deprecated has been deprecated. These elements are obsolete, right? It's not just word games, there is a subtly different meaning. The HTML5 spec is not for you and me. I mean, it's partly for you and me as authors, and it is a place to go to read about what's in the spec, but it's really long. And the reason it's really long is because the specification is also and mainly for browser makers. How do I render this stuff? What do I do in case of errors? That's a huge thing that's finally being specified in HTML, what do you do in case of errors. So there's a lot of stuff in HTML5 that says, you know, for authors, here's how you use this. Browser makers, here's how you render this, right? There's a whole bunch of more important stuff for the browser makers. So with these obsolete elements, right, you know, big and center and font, it basically says, authors, don't use this element. Implementers, here's how you render this element, okay? Support existing content. They have to. It's no good for browser makers to say, la la la, I don't hear you, there's no such thing as that element. They have to support it, even if it's been obsoleted in the particular version of HTML that someone has specified with the doc type, they still have to support existing content. So there's this interesting thing where there's elements that are no longer in HTML5 that are in HTML5, the spec. Okay, so a lot of the presentational stuff is gone. I say a lot because not quite everything. Some elements have gone through a re-education program. So the big element is gone, hey, but the small element remains. But it does not mean what you think it means. Small does not mean render this in a small size. Small means this is for the small print, like legalese and terms and conditions. Okay? The B element remains. Now you probably think B means bold. No. It used to mean bold. B means a span of text in an alternate mood or voice. Now, okay, that sounds like semantic word games. And it is semantic word games. But actually, there's a big difference between saying something is bold and something is in an alternate mood or voice. And that is device independence. Something can only be bold on a screen or in print. How do you make something bold when it's audio? It's impossible. Whereas if you say a span of text in an alternate mood or voice, that could apply to any medium, not necessarily printed medium or screen medium. That could also apply to audio. Same thing has happened with the I element. Doesn't mean italic, don't be silly. But essentially, they are semantic word games. So we have B, I, small. These are all still in the specification. I'm not sure. I'll have to check for you. I hope not. I hope that's no longer in the spec. So I'm not sure I agree with this. Now, I see why it happens. They are absolutely sticking to their design principles of supporting existing content. Lots of people are using these elements, and these elements have default styling in browsers. That's very useful. I actually remember that balancing act I mentioned between being a theoretically good language and a pragmatic language that works today. I think in the case of B and I and small, they've maybe gone down the pragmatism road, maybe a bit too much for my liking, and I'd like to see them tilt the balance a bit more. You know, if you got rid of all these other presentation elements, why not get rid of B and I and small as well? But yeah, I'm pretty sure Blink is gone. I'm pretty sure Blink's been gone for a while. Oh, it's gone. And as I said, take it up with the CSS working group because that's presentation.
So the last question is from a fan. Morton DK says, "Can I have my books signed? Because I'm a fanboy."
I never know what to say, and I always feel really silly when people say, "Oh, sign the book." But yes, I would love to. I don't know. I'll have to think of something to write now. But that's very, very kind of you.
Well, thanks a lot, Jeremy.
Thank you.